Okay. So in this class, let's see the difference between a raster and a vector image. Right. Let's see the difference between a raster and a vector image. So for that, first uh, let's draw a shape. Right. Let's draw a shape. So I'm zooming in as much as I can, but still you can see that the shape is very solid, right? Still the shape is very solid. So this is vector. So how does vector work? Vector works based on points, and then you can see. So we create points, and then the computer calculates the line between these points. So because of that, how much ever we change the shape or size of the object, it is going to remain, the quality of the object is going to remain constant, because the computer will recalculate the shapes and sizes according to however we stretch them. So now you can say I've stretched them beyond its limit, but still you will be able to see the quality. On the other hand, let's try the same in a vector based. This is vector. Let's try the same in a raster based software. So I'm going to open Photoshop, and we'll see the difference between how this differs software based software. So Adobe has two softwares: Illustrator for uh, vector based works and Photoshop for raster based works. So we have a Photoshop document. We'll create a new file. Okay, let's create a new file. So now we'll make a small square. Okay, this is a smart object. So instead we'll take the brush tool and we'll paint. Okay, we have made some painting. So now let's zoom into this painting. So we are zooming in. So you can see after a certain, you start to see the pixels, right? So we are at 3200% zoom and you start to see the pixels. So now if we try to zoom the actual work. So now I've zoomed the actual work. So can you see the loss in quality? You don't even have to zoom that much now. We are just zooming for 300% and you are able to see the loss in quality. So let me try to zoom it further. Okay, now we'll focus. You can see the loss in quality even at 200%, right? You can see the different pixels. That is because Photoshop works based on pixels, or they are raster. Once the file size is set, once you set it to a visiting card, there is no chance of resizing it into a larger size without losing quality, because it remembers only pixels. It remembers what is the color in this pixel, this pixel, this pixel, pixel by pixel. On the other hand, So the advantage of this would be to create very realistic things, just like how our eye sees, right? So you can create very beautiful pictures, but the disadvantage is you might not be able to scale them to different sizes. On the other hand, you can see here, we made it as a very small, thing, very small element, and then we resized it to so much more, and still, even if you zoom hundreds of thousands of times, it's still going to remain the same. That's because you can see Illustrator has kept these points and it has calculated the curves. So again and again, even when you resize, it just has to calculate it again. It doesn't have to do anything. It just has to calculate it again. So that's why the disadvantages of these things of vector-based software is it's difficult to produce realistic colors. So when you create colors, the colors are going to look solid. Producing realistically gradient colors is going to be difficult. So that's why that cartoon look, you'll get the cartoon kind of look. But it's very good for logo creation or even poster sometimes, because even if you make a visiting card, you can resize it into a poster later. So it's good for that kind of work. So both raster and vector have their own advantages.